Hello, and welcome to Jenny from the Republic, the podcast where we dive into the Constitution, the rights that define us as Americans, and the political landscape from a conservative perspective. I'm your host, Jenny, and in each episode, we will explore the foundational principles of our country, examine current political events, and break down the issues that matter most to liberty and freedom. Whether you're passionate about preserving our civil liberties or just curious about what's going on in the political world today, this podcast is going to have you covered. Today is January 3rd, 2025. I'm very excited to film this today. This is my first episode of 2025. 2025 is going to be an incredible year. I just have a lot of plans, a lot of things to look forward to this year, especially here in January. So, really excited. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed or followed me on Instagram, or listened and just given me their support. It means a lot. Thank you to Lauren for being my first guest on my podcast last week. It was super fun. Can't wait to see you soon. So soon. First, if you are watching this on YouTube or Instagram, I guess, look what I got at Goodwill. So this is actually perfect for today's episode because I am going to be talking about something really fun that's happening today. The 119th Congress starts their session today. January 3rd of every odd-numbered year is when a Congress starts, and that is because some elected officials in Congress, they're not all on the same election cycle. So in 2 years from now, there will be an election, and that's when another Congress will start. So see how it's staggered? See what I mean? But today, I'm going to be talking about the schedule and basically what happens when a new Congress starts and kind of what the floor looks like. So the people who were just elected on November 5th of last year will be sworn in. And this will be Vice President Harris's final duty as President of Senate, to swear in the newly elected officials for Congress. So after that, the Speaker of the House will be voted for and sworn in. There's really good chance that it might not be Mike Johnson. It could be whoever. We shall see. We'll find out probably later today. So hopefully I can get this episode up before the session is over for today. Both parties will announce their leaders that have been sworn in or voted in, I guess. So the Republicans will be voting for their House Majority Leader and whip, and then the Democrats will be voting for their House Minority Leader and whip. And a whip, that is a really interesting term. Makes you want to, it's like they have a whip. They're not whipped. I mean, they might be by their party. I don't know. But each party in Congress has a whip, which basically means they have somebody that oversees the disciplinary acts of the party, their functionality in legislature, basically enforces the rules and make sure everybody is acting the way that they're supposed to act and nothing is going unseen or being scandalous, which, if you've ever watched House of Cards, the whip is probably not, I don't know. We'd like to hope that everybody in Congress just plays by the rules, but there's stuff going on behind the scenes. So that's what a whip is supposed to be. So after the majority and minority leaders and whips are voted in, they will vote on the clerk, the sergeant at arms, chief administrative officer, and the chaplain. So that can be from any party. So this will probably be a pretty long day because they've got lots of voting, and there's 535 members of Congress. A lot of them, it's their first day on the job, so things are going to go a little differently than they would if it was the last day of the session last year. So after that, the president is notified of all of these election results. So they let President Biden know, not Trump. Trump has absolutely nothing to do with this Congress right now. He will not have any power until January 20th. And after that, they vote on rules for House operations. What's the standard? What's expected of this session? And then they'll establish a meeting time for when the sessions should start. Yeah, lots of voting. And then at the very end, they kind of break off into other business, but normally committees um, select their candidates. There's so many different committees, like Department of Veterans Affairs, and all sorts of committees that are subgroups basically that back bills. So, and it's bipartisan. So just a little refresher of who's actually part of Congress, who's going to be part of the 119th Congress. There is 535 members, like I mentioned. So there's 100 senators, 2 from each state. So there's equal representation there. And then there's 47 of those that are Democrats and 53 that are Republicans and 2 independents. Yes, Bernie Sanders is still in office. Um, and then for the House, there's 435 members, 215 Democrats, 220 Republicans. And like I said, this is subject to change every 2 years. That's why Congress starts every 2 years, not every 4 years, because there will be an election in 2 years. So technically, like the end of next year, because it is 2025 now. So that's bizarre. Woo. Yeah. So today's episode kind of sounds like a crash course, like high school government class. I don't know. Um, I really wanted to cover something that is going to be a little bit more educational and not just like as personal. Yeah, I don't know. So I want to dive more into some topics that are educational rather than like politics and my opinion and this and that, because that's not really the point of this podcast. It's more to be informative and to be fun, not to be offensive. And I'm not going to ever be sharing anything that's like extremely personal to my beliefs. Yes, this is right winged, and I do side with the conservative ideologies, but at the end of the day, like I don't want to make this like I just want to be informative. I want to be educational, and I've thought about being a teacher and I'd love to be a teacher, but I want government, economics, policy. I want that to be interesting to people, because that is the only way we can be informed on our vote, is if we educate ourselves. And sometimes history is boring. Sometimes government is boring. But the way that the United States operates is super fascinating to me. And yeah, so I just wanted to hop on here. It's kind of a shorter episode, but yeah. So the 119th Congress starts today. So that's, when you think about when the first Continental Congress started, that was 119 times 2 ago, right? I don't know. Okay, I'm a little blonde. But thank you all for listening. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I know here in Indiana, we are about to brace ourselves for a winter storm, which I'm kind of excited for. This time last year, I was living in San Antonio because I was in the military, and it was warm, and obviously we did not see any snow. So very excited to just be home. And then I've got some really fun plans for next weekend. That is the governor of Indiana's inaugural weekend. So my husband and I might be getting fancied up for some events. And then we are off to DC on the 16th. So I'm very excited to watch democracy unfold once again. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.